what's being created. In other words, there is the idea person, the person who is actually carrying out the work, and then the clients. So think about that as February opens. You might have some nice creativity available to you. It might even have to do with a air sign person. So collaboration with an air sign person could be featured. That's Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini. And, it's something that produces results and that everyone can see. So if you have King energy is expert energy. So if you can work with someone who's an expert in their field, someone who has good judgment, someone who is honest, someone who can lend expertise. This is really nice energy at the opening of February. In fact, it's interesting how you have two King cards here and then a third King card. So there's like the three Kings showing up for you in February. Sometimes I call that knowledge, wisdom, understanding. That's usually King of Swords energy, but definitely collaborative, creative efforts, group projects are featured as February opens. And then I see a face-off here between a fire sign king and a young person or someone who's acting from the young side of themselves. Page of Swords. This is someone who really holds a certain belief. You can see as he holds this sword here, he's like, this is what I believe. This is what I know. Swords represent air, so they represent ideas, knowledge, again, truth, all that stuff that has to do with information that's stored, in the brain or communicated along airwaves. It's just, again, that knowledge, wisdom, understanding. So, but this Page of Swords is less experienced, but he stands up for what he believes, and he's facing off against someone who is a little bit eccentric, a little bit, who's very bold, who's confident, who does things in his own unique way. So I'm seeing that there could be a tangle here at the opening of February between someone who is, says this is how it needs to be done. They're less experienced, but they think they have the answer. And they are willing to stand up for what they believe. Whereas this guy is a little bit more creative. He's got fire. This could actually be you, Sag, because you are a fire sign. So this could be you or Aries or Leo, where you actually have more expertise in the field. And it does look like a face-off here where there could be potential conflict, but it also could be that this person, and this could be you, Sag, is imparting knowledge to this Page of Swords young person. So I do see some expertise happening there. What it could be, I love this possibility, is that it could be you, two other people, maybe two air signs that are working on this collaborative project together. So if you have expertise in a certain area, Sag, if you work with another expert who maybe has an apprentice, or maybe has, you have an apprentice and you're working, I love the fact that this could be the three coins that we're seeing here for this group project, this group dynamic. I'm going to say for the beginning of February, working in threes can be really good, especially with air signs. I'll just throw that out there. Aquarius, Gemini, Libra. They're all in the upright position. And it could be that you mentor someone else. This could even, literally be a father-son combo, or the more experienced person who's on par with you, and then they have someone who wants to learn more about what you know. So lots of possibilities there, Sag. Potentially too, one other interpretation is that this could be you, and this could be a younger romantic partner that you're involved with, especially if they're an air sign. So it could be a little bit of head-to-head action with you wanting to do things your own unique way, as King of Rods wants to do, and usually has very innovative ideas. And it could be that the young Page of Swords is just like not seeing things 100% the same way, that they're standing up for what they believe. But both cards are in the upright, so I don't see it as anything negative. It just may be an exchange of different points of view. Then in the middle of the month, I show Four of Swords, which means this is an R&R card. This is rest and relaxation. This is taking a time out from, from participating in battle, just to rest, relax, hang your thoughts up on the wall, recharge, take a time out from everything and just kind of regain your strength. That's the middle, if you've been working on a collaborative project or if you've been setting something up with these kind of power players, you might just want to take a time out and consider your resources. This is Six of Coins, which has to do with who's getting the money and how much, who has the money, who needs to receive it, weighing of that balance. This has to do with knowledge, resources, power, information, money, budgeting. It has to do with the flow. I think of spreadsheets when I always see this card. It's sort of like, where's the money coming in? What are the income and the expenses? Who's getting what? How does things get divided up? That's what this balance is about, making sure that things are fair in terms of allocation of resources. So I might say too that if as this project that you're working on or creative endeavor is happening, you may want to just take a time out and think about what the best allocation of resources is. I do see at the middle of the month that you may be feeling emotionally off balance or unstable. For some of you, if this is during Valentine's Day, it could be that it's throwing you off your game. But this also could just be a water sign. Typically, cups is water signs, so Pisces, Cancer, or Scorpio. But this also could be you, Sag. It's hard to say. If you're involved with a Scorpio or Cancer or Pisces, they may not show up fully as themselves middle of the month. Normally, King of Cups is very compassionate. He's very concerned with other people's feelings. He always does things from a position of the heart. And he is an embodiment of the perfect partner, someone who makes decisions from their heart. But because they're in the reverse position, it's showing up that they're not actually being themselves. And in some ways, I can kind of read this as you, Sag, just not feeling emotionally like yourself. I get the sense that things regarding business, financial transactions, allocation of funds, that you're kind of on top of that in terms of creating it and allocating the resources. But emotionally, middle month might be tough. You've actually got 3 cards in reverse having to do with cups. So things to do with the mind or things to do with life here on earth, lifestyle, health, work, all that seems fine. Where I see you upside down, Sag, or just struggling to maybe be in balance is emotionally. So I'm going to say be aware of that, because what it will do is it's blocking your ability to be adventurous, to be open, to have faith, to have trust in the universe. This is Fool, which is all about potential energy. It's about everything being new and open, and it's like a young person who's like, I just want to go out and see the world. I want to go out and explore and adventure, and that's something that you Sages are usually very good at. This is something that you're comfortable with, because your 9th house, you're all about higher learning, exploration, travel. You have this happy-go-lucky, carefree, optimistic attitude most of the time, and Fool has that too. But when you feel, it's kind of like when you feel emotionally off balance, you don't really feel like yourself. You're not you become not the carefree, open, trusting person that you normally are. So just be aware of that in February, Sag, that you might have the mind stuff together, especially as you rely on experts. That's what this King of Swords is. And you might be, you might be showing up as the king, working on projects, resources, thinking about things, but try to tend to your emotions, because if you're emotionally off balance, it's gonna kind of dampen you feeling like you. And it's going to dampen your feeling of trust, faith, adventurousness, being open. And that's what I see here at the end of the month. Again, more coins energy in the upright position, which is what's reflected here, but then also more cups in the reverse position. So Queen of Cups, interesting that King and Queen of Cups here are in the reverse. I'm going to hold, actually, I'm going to, bring this one up here to show that it's these three in the row and just kind of highlight here, middle of the month, maybe where you run into problems feeling emotionally unstable, Sag, and it's dampening your happy-go-lucky, open, attitude. When I see King and Queen of Cups in the reverse position and looking away from one another, this is saying that he's taking his heart that way, she's taking her heart that way. And even though cups usually represent water signs, so again, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, I'm kind of seeing this as you and another person. I'm seeing that those who used to be compassionate towards one another, those who used to share the table, King and Queen are a natural couple. Those who used to, might even have been married or had a serious relationship are looking in different directions. They're actually looking at different horizons. And even though there may be this flood of emotion, that's what all this water is behind the scenes, that's the shared ocean of feelings that they may have for one another, they're actually looking away from one another. So I'm seeing, they're even on a different section here. I'm seeing that they're very much looking in different directions. So this could be a separation with a partner, or just a time where you may need to acknowledge that you're looking in different directions. And this too, Three of Cups in the reverse, is saying normally Three of Cups has to do with celebration, spending time with like-minded people. It's support from friends and family. It is, just celebrating and enjoying the company of those that you love and who love you. When this is in reverse, it's telling me that you might not feel like socializing. You might not feel like going to parties or engaging with your friends or even family members because of what's going on here. I'll say because of the emotional distance. So that's just what I'm seeing from the cards. With Three of Cups in reverse and with Fool in reverse, I'm kind of seeing, Sag, that you may just not feel like yourself mid-month. And I'm seeing that with King of Cups and Fool both in reverse as well. There's something kind of just off emotionally. And it could be something about Valentine's Day that is kind of getting to you. But I can't quite put my finger on that, but I am just seeing there is emotional distance between, the woman with the heart and the man with the heart. He's looking this way, she's looking this way. Even though they still have a lot of commonality, there's almost like an ocean in between you. Or that ocean is growing. I'm not sure how to interpret that, but that's what I'm giving you. And then at the end of the month, there's two things happening. Seven of Coins is the farmer card. So this is long range planning. This is assessing whether what you're planning and what you're creating is the harvest that you want to continue with. So I sometimes consider this card looking at your returns on investment, because when you invest time and energy into, say, planting a farm, planting a garden, there comes a point at the end where you collect your harvest and you have to ask, is this crop worth the time and effort that I'm putting into it? Perhaps it is. Perhaps this is like more than, this can be a very abundant, prosperous card, but it requires a lot of sort of planning and long-term commitment. And when farmer shows up, it's saying your crops are coming into to ripeness, but they're not quite ready to be harvested yet. So it's a card of patience, and it's a card of assessment, reconsideration, sort of taking time while your plants are almost ready to be harvested to think about it and think about, okay, so is this what I want to continue doing? Do I want to plant the same crop for next season? And it's a card that says you may have to wait for these things to be ripe. If you try to, often in the Rider-Waite, this is depicted as grapes. So if you try to harvest grapes before they're ready, they'll be quite sour. You have to wait for them to sweeten. So what I'll say to you with this card is you may need to wait for some things to sweeten on the vine. They're still growing. You'll still be able to harvest them, but the time may not be yet to harvest all this financial abundant energy. You may have to wait just a bit longer. But this pause while you're waiting for it gives you time to assess, do I want to continue doing this, or do I want to switch gears and do something different? What sort of fine-tuning adjustments do I want to make to yield a better crop, or yield a different crop? That's what this card's about. And then 5 of coins shows that when we focus too much on the physical world, this is a card of a choice of focus. When you look at this card, you can see there's really 2 different things going on. There's the nun who's comforting the person who's bandaged and out in the cold. And then in the background, there's this church that has warm, emanating light within. So it's very cold outside, but it's very warm inside. We see this compassion, and then we see this pain. So it's really a choice of focus. And often what this card says to me is that as we focus more on the material world, that's where our comfort is, and that's what's always available to us. As we focus on the spiritual world, that's where the comfort is, and that's where the warmth is. But as we focus on the material world, we can feel cut off from others. We can feel loss. Sometimes this card is read as financial loss. But as we see that there's more to life than just money, that's another lesson of this card. It's sort of like saying when you focus just on finance or money or superficial things, materiality, you can end up feeling very lost, very wounded, very left out in the cold. But when you realize that there is this spiritual comfort, there is this whole world where you could go and be comforted, be warm, it's always available to you. That's one of the lessons of this card. So 5 of coins says choice of focus. It's not just all about the here and now. It's not just about growing, 3 of coins to 6 of coins to 7 of coins. I do see money growing for you through your creative efforts, and then through like your strategizing or budgeting, and then putting effort into things that will pay off more long term. That's a nice evolution of that through the month. But I also see at the end of the month, it's going to be important for you to acknowledge that money isn't everything, that there's more to life than that too.